We all have our troubles, insecurities. We have hardships, trials, testings. Destiny isn't made for us. We make it as we fumble over the constellations we become. But you wouldn't know that if everyone was who they seem to be. Some of us are abused, some of us abusers. Neglected and neglecting. We take life by the hand, get to the end of the aisle, and seal our fate in the matrimony of death. We assume our pretenses, watch the people we only hope to know, shower the rows with flowers or fill up the pews. These are the stories of 5 unsuspecting children of God. Transitory sentences blurred amidst themselves. The primeval stones, first and last, ran smooth under the river of time. Without our masks, we all last a little while.
I didn't want to grow up in his shadow. I didn't want to feel worthless, feel lesser. But it happened. It happened that he came first and everything I did was measured up against him. He could do much more than me. He could talk more eloquently. He could be liked more easily. He was quicker to get around friend groups, social chains, the first to get into the heart of my mother, the first in the eyes of my father. Where am I? Somewhere in the background for sure. But it was fine for me, at least for a little while. The people in my life brushed me off, blotted me, pressed me up against everyone else. I worked hard to get out of there. I got close to people. I worked up my grades. I thought I was who I needed to be. But it wasn't enough. Not enough. Never enough. I trudged winter and summer, family vacation, and summer camp, mustering the approval of my parents, became lost in the storm, reeled over death, and became enamored with the person I could never be. Not to my parents, at least. Pretty for a while, statuesque in appearance, but not performance. I'm great for the part, but not noticed, not favored. I'm a backup and all my power. That's what I shaped up to be. That's all I'll ever be to those who have raised me. But it's too late now. The shadow is cast upon me. The fate is unfolded. Now I'm the moon, blood red and veiled by the overbearing shadow of the earth. I burned out my light, but wouldn't you?
It's not the beauty of the gift we receive, it's the gift we receive. Every Christmas you gather around a tree, but every year less people show up around trees. Less people show up. You can replace trees and you always buy more presents, but you cannot get a grandparent back, a sibling back, or a parent back. We're always drifting unsteadily towards death, less sure where we stand, and we cling to the backs of those that will have us. It's what we are. We're burdens. I'm a burden. I just don't want to be alone anymore. I've endured many Christmases where my heart and my mind are as empty, cold, and as blank as the snow drifting outside my or even your window. That's all anyone ever is anymore, a snow angel, a real angel, waiting for the impression of a child's body to create their outlines, or maybe I'm waiting for someone's warmth and comfort from those who have given up on me, those who didn't even want to wave a single goodbye or kiss me on the forehead before going to sleep in their coffins. They etched my outline. They created me. But I would never want to be like them. I cannot die bearing the guilt of being abandoned by the ones I love dearly, but little do I know, I am like them. I will be like them. Sooner or later, the inevitable crime, as I see, well, I have committed. And so I ask for forgiveness. Never mind. How can someone forgive when they don't understand?
I'm breathing. I'm afraid to live. And I'm afraid there's no good way out. Even then, what changes? The hurt doesn't stop if there's less of me to feel it. It will only stop when there's none of me left. Is that selfish? It very much is, as I've been told. It's pathetic and stupid, adjectives used to describe what people think of me when they know. I pray upon death to take all of me, to cradle me in its arms. I was a puny flower growing sideways in a garden I didn't belong in. I was watered in my own tears. I never knew what the sun was, what it was like to touch golden sun rays with the tips of my fingers, as though an innocent child would. But somehow, I still managed. It began at my roots, my family. Encircled by poor soil, it bittered us up and we hardened. We became impossibly distant from one another. Mother Nature cursed at me. She deemed me unworthy. She only humbled for the men she thought loved her. Did you know it was the second choice always? Men, then me. The world told me that my siblings were bad seeds and that I would be the same. But there's never a bad seed, right? Just a bad gardener who lost their green thumb, or a rotten family tree. All my pain is transparent. I alone wade through it. Enough about me, though. It's not that important.
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 12.5% of the population suffers from major depression. I'm one of these statistics, a digit in someone's calculation. My troubles, my dread, my helplessness, someone's summative assessment. This is not objectification. It's impersonation. We as people learn to accept, endorse, champion. Dejection with pride is only one of these symptoms. Someone else is always acting the part. Most of me is facade. You know the sin's name. Guess. Make your own assessment. But God already has my confession. My grandfather suffered a heart attack in May 2007, and we rushed to the hospital. I didn't want to go, but she told me, your grandfather is dying. A glare she stole over me, my heart grated and bled out. The part of me that felt most is gone now. I haven't lost any sleep, though. I have enough energy. I've made peace with myself, but I can't tell my grandfather. Thank you for being in my life. It seems now I have to twist my ankle and break my back to find people who like me. The people in our lives are mirrors, reflections of ourselves, images of happiness and hope we want to see in ourselves. I'm tired of shopping for mirrors, working hard to find nothing good from anyone, for anything. I'm heavily in tune with myself. Years of broken marriages and attrition from the people who I love taught me that. But I'm out of tune with everyone else. This isn't sadness. It's invasion, an unwelcome onslaught against my own heart. The mind takes on the heart, and I've only ever lost. I can't make relationships last. It's a screenplay in the destruction of everything I hold dear. Except I'm no innocent bystander. I'm in the front row of my life winding down, whittling away friends and family, and I've provided all I can. No one shows up to the screening. I'm a battleground, sinning and sinned against. I'd martyr, but what then? For whom? For what? I'm the king, but I've no more a pawn than anyone else.
Supposedly, a mother's love is the strongest force on earth, and nothing can ever come between mother and child, or at least, it's not supposed to. I was told I was lucky to have the mother I had, that she was smart and creative and beautiful. Some people still tell me that. But what I didn't know, what they didn't know, what nobody could know, was that holding her hand was the equivalent of holding a hand grenade with the pin already pulled, the time slowly ticking away, and I was slowly anticipating the detonation. People say that addiction's a disease, and I call those people uneducated, because addiction's a choice, a path you elect to follow, easy to begin but hard to end. Her choice to leave me for a drug that could give her a better feeling, a cheap high, meant more to her than any of my refrigerator-worthy masterpieces or popsicle kisses. I should have recognized the changes in her actions, the way she talked, the look in her eyes. But it wasn't supposed to be my job to raise myself as well as my mother. I refuse to believe that my mother's love ever existed for me for the time that she was fueled by nicotine and cheap amphetamines, caught up in a vicious cycle of using them up and being empty again. It doesn't appear as though I was enough for her when she had me, and now I'm all that she wants. She knew what she had all along, but she took me for granted. It was silly to think that all she'd ever crave was my love. Silly to think that I was safe, and silly to believe that she would always put me first. She put her life in jeopardy and destroyed mine. She's created a split in my mind, torn between believing in love with a happy ending and that love's only result is betrayal. Instead of healing, my mind has decomposed faster than the bodies of forgotten loved ones, allowed itself to believe it was okay with all this. The deterioration has become who I am. It has worked its way into my stomach and continues to escape through my esophagus night after night, regardless of how strongly I compel it away. I've found it almost unbearable to address the topic of which disorder defines me. But what really defines me? Is it my lineage? Is it my mother? Is it which home I belong in? Is it my disorder? Is it whom I choose to be around? No. I get to decide who I am. It's my life. I'm not going to let anyone else's life define me. My choices affect who I am, and I don't intend for any of them to circle back to her. I'm sick of playing games, and I'm tired of lying about how I feel, to everyone, to myself. But you can't tell the truth, because the world doesn't want to hear the ugly truth. The world wants to hear a pretty lie, because the truth doesn't matter beyond where men believe. So with what's left of us, we put on the mask that we create.
Are you guys all right?